Okay, Bob here. Let's see. I got a top from J Tops. What do they call them? A Bimini top or whatever. Just pulled it out of the box. See if we can get it unwrapped here. I don't know if I can do this one-handed or not. It looks pretty good. It's pretty heavy-duty mesh. If y'all are wanting something that'll stop rain, this is not going to stop rain. This is what it'll look like from underneath. This will be the top. I got the Tennessee flag. I live in Tennessee. I was going to make a joke about that, but I'll pass on that. Y'all don't need jokes. Let's see. Somewhere in here. There we go. There we go. We got the special wipes for cleaning it up before you put the. And they've already stuck the Velcro on there, so I guess you just peel it off when you're ready to put it on your vehicle. You know, it looks like it's a really good one. We got an important message here. What's this? Oh, video instructions. Yeah, they got instructions. I'm not going to show you how to put it on because they've got really good instructions online on how to put it on. So I'm just doing this to show you my own experience doing this. We've been here in Tennessee, East Tennessee. We've been below zero for a few days. So I'm currently heating up the garage, and I'm probably going to tackle this project start on Sunday because I already know from looking at the videos when you put this Velcro on the frame, you want it to set for 24 hours. So I'll get the little truck out of here and put the Bronco in here and let it sit overnight, Saturday night, Sunday morning, and start Sunday morning and then finish it up on Monday. But yeah, man, it's been cold, so it's kind of stiff, but I can't imagine you'd want it to be real flexible anyway. Just looking at it, it looks like it's really well made. Yeah, this is towards the back where the only straps that are on it strap it on. You put this thing on, and you forget it. You put your top right on over top of it. They make them so that to go underneath of a hard top or a soft top, and then they also have an option for if you have both hard and soft top. They have an option on these so you can do both. I had thought when I first got my Bronco I'd like to get a soft top. I've since decided, nah, screw that. I'm not going to fool with the soft top. Yeah, I mean, it'd be nice, you know, throw the soft top on in the summer, and you know, if you get down to the beach or somewhere, you can real easily take it off. But yeah, that ain't going to happen enough for me to invest in a soft top. So yeah, it looks very well made. And Sunday morning I'll get started, and I'll take some short videos just to show you all what I'm doing. All right. Okay, so I got my top. I just wanted to look at before I start putting the Velcro on. It's just laying there. There's two clips at the very front are hooked, but other than that, it's just laying there. I want to make a mention on these magnets that they have in these things. They are very strong for the size of the magnets that are there. They're very strong. And one thing they need to update their videos a little bit. For example, in the installation video, he mentions that you need to put your Velcro all the way up to this weld. And you see where I'm at? And of course the Velcro is already stuck to it when you receive it. And it's only to right there. Flip that back up. And then there's that little hook that's going to hook in that hole that he mentions in his installation video. And that's one solid piece of Velcro to the end. Of course, you know, we'll just be taking that off to install this piece on here. Another point that I want to make that he doesn't really cover, he does say when installing the Velcro, it's going to run right along basically these lines right here. But on the back, when you pull this over, it pulls down and over like that. So if your Velcro's up here, I don't know, it doesn't seem like it's going to do you a lot of good. So what I'm thinking about doing is after I clean it up, just before I put the converter or whatever the hell that's called, just taking making a pencil mark, you know, like right there and right there. So I'll bring it along, and then at a certain point it'll bend down just a little bit. That's what I'm looking at, and I'm going to try. Another thing on this video, it appears that he has two pieces of Velcro. He installs this piece up front, and then he installs the second piece back here. There's no mention about cutting it. There's no mention about anything. So, I mean, I'm sure, I have no doubt it's going to turn out well, but I want to point out those couple of things. Of course, before this goes on tomorrow morning, I got to take that plate off, and it goes on top of that, and it is reinforced really well where these three holes are, where it gets clamped down. Again, the quality really seems to be there. I know there's a lot of debate online about whether people want these or not, because right up front, when you put this Velcro on with that hardener, I can't remember what he calls it, but there's some name for it. And when you stick that on there, if you ever decide you don't want this top, basically you're going to play hell getting that Velcro and all the sticky stuff off of your Bronco. A lot of work is going to be involved getting this off. So, you know, I would say be sure you want it before you put it on. But from what I've seen, it is very, very well made. I think I'm going to be happy with it. And I'm going to get started on this. I'm going to start over on the driver's side. And, yeah, see what happens. But again, like I said, this kind of pulls down. Instead of being up here, like it is back here, following this line, it kind of pulls down over a little bit. So before I put that Velcro on, I'm going to be looking at it really close. Of course, it's centered on there. Yeah, it's centered, so yeah. Okay, moving on. So I've got this cleaned up, and I'm ready to put the glue on, whatever it's called. And I'm looking at this. I put right here where this starts to come down and over like that. I put a mark where it starts. Just barely see a little Sharpie mark. And the lowest point and the end of it. And I can't really do this, but obviously if I'm running this in a straight line and then I bend it down, I'm going to end up with a little, I'm exaggerating it, but I'm going to end up with a bubble. It's going to pucker up on one side. So what I'm going to do, we'll get that out of the way. It's got to run up just like that, and then it's got to turn a little bit. And like I said, when it turns, it's going to, like, again, I'm exaggerating, but it's going to pucker up. So I'm going to just cut this piece to fit from that point to that point, and then go from there. Another thing I've noticed is, I want to show you, is that now I've stretched this the top over. Well, let's walk over to the other side. It's still laying there, and when you stretch it, it comes down to that crease right there. It runs the whole length. So, all things being equal, which they generally aren't, if you oh, sorry about the camera wagging around. So if you bring that just down to that crease, so it's not hanging out from underneath, I'm showing it to you, you've got a fair amount that bends over the top. Let's see, on the end of it. Okay, that shows it a little bit better. You see, that's going to lay over the top, which I guess that's fine. He says something about that in the video. But then when you get to this bracket, now I got a hard top, it's going to be laying up on that bracket, or it's actually, you're going to take this bracket off, it's going to be laying under that bracket, which, you know, it's not real thick, but it'll keep the bracket from laying flat. So I've decided what I'm going to do is, when I get to this point, I'm going to cut a little notch in the Velcro so I can get it on it, that laid over and wrapped over the top, and maybe just take my razor blade and cut out around this so that this plate won't be laying on top of this. Now, keeping in mind, I'm probably overthinking shit here. I mean, you're already laying it on top of this, but this is still a flat surface, and if you lay that over top again, it's not going to lay flat. It's going to have a little bit of a crook to it after you tighten it down. That's just what I'm going to do. I'm going to take the Velcro that I just dropped on the floor, and I'm going to just notch that. So anyway, moving on, right? So that's what I came up with. It's stuck on there, and it ain't going nowhere. So I cut a little bit of an angle out of it, and it seems to be on there. I pulled this over, and that looks like it's going to be just beautiful. Of course, I can only get my garage up to about 64 degrees, so, you know, once this top gets hot, I'm going to need to re-stretch it. But so far, I'm pretty happy with the way it's turning out. And I did just like I said. When I got back to this bracket, I just went ahead and cut out a little sliver. It actually went a lot easier cutting that piece out than I thought it would. And it runs all the way up to here. So I used the blunt end of my screwdriver, the handle end of my screwdriver, to rub it down. And you can hear it cracking. The bubbles pushing out of it. So you definitely need to do that. Rub it out really good until you stop hearing that cracking. I can't describe it any other way. So that's the driver's side. I needed to get the passenger side done. And so far so good. They haven't steered me wrong yet. Okay, I got the passenger side done. Came out really nice, I think. And I just cut it right there, cut a little bit of a wedge, and pieced it together. Cut out around. Like I said, they don't say anything about it on the video. I just thought it would be, I don't know, a little more attention to detail, cutting out around that plate up there. And that's about it. So they show, again, I'm just going to reiterate, they show starting at this weld, but the Velcro doesn't start until right here. So I'm not really sure what the point of starting at that weld is. So what I did, of course I had to do it ass backwards, because I had this little piece to cut in here. I measured where it was needed to go, put that piece in, I worked from back here, worked forward. Came out all right, so we'll see. Got to sit and wait now 24 hours. Tomorrow I'll come out and stretch the top on. Okay, Monday morning, I don't know, it's 10 or 11 o'clock. I got it installed. Looks pretty good. I'm pretty happy with it. Pretty straightforward. That came out pretty good there, the way I remember I cut that and bent that down a little bit. Get the magnets. Got the plate that you got to take off and then put back on over top. I think I do have a little bit of a wrinkle, but I know what I did there. I think I got a little too carried away pulling these straps tight. I loosened them up a little bit, and like I said earlier in the video, it's about 65 out here, so I'm thinking when we do get some warm weather, I'll let it get good and warm, and reseat it. I think is what I'm going to do. I think it probably, I'm sure like anything else, it'd be easier to, you got a little bit of a, but it's nothing major. And again, I think letting this thing get warm and then redoing it would be a big help. Yeah. Oh, underneath. Looks pretty good underneath. If there's any pictures, specific shots you guys might want, I'd be glad to take them and post them. I'm gonna set the top back down and see how that goes, because that's what the zippers are for. There's one back there. There's two long ones up here. You got those holes for the where the top secures it down. So we'll see how this goes. All right. I just wanted to point this out. When if you've bought or built your own top lifter, I did consider this before I bought the Bimini top, so I mean I was prepared for it. But you won't be climbing up in the middle to be setting this intermediate piece on. And when you run your strap, you got to run it that whole distance through there from the back side. Not a big deal. If you have a homemade like I do and you have hooks, be aware. I mean, it's sitting all the way down and it's not sitting on the top. But depending on how you built yours, you got to be aware that, you know, you got limited, what is that, probably about 1 inch or 2 clearance. Just wanted to point that out. I'm going to go ahead and finish putting the top on and I'll get you some pictures. Okay, I just fell back. I've got the intermediate piece on. That was easy. I put the passenger side front on, and you know, his video, he's not real clear on where you fold this back. And in his video, he says to take that little snap ring off, or that, it's not a snap ring, but you know, that little clip. And then when you put your, let me go around the other side, can't go that way. When you put the top on, you have the one paddle clamp. And in his video, he talks about, oh, can you see it? Yeah, how the paddle clamp, the top, after it's folded, it'll be above the paddle clamp. Okay, so I'm gonna run around back to the other side. So if you fold it where it looks like he's folding it in his video, looks like he's folding it right here. But if you do that, the paddle clamp, when it comes up, it's not going to hold this in place. So this has got to be where he's folding it, right after this rigid piece of, I don't know what it is, some kind of a plastic. Folding it right there. Your paddle clamp, when you set it on, will slip right down through there, and then it'll snap up in place. So if you're doing that, I could see no reason to flip this little guy, this little clip off. I'll finish this up after I get the final top on. Okay, so I got the final piece on, and inside, this is what it's going to look like. You do end up with a couple of wrinkles because you don't have it stretched out to the front like you did before. Paddle clamp is holding that particular spot up, same on the other side. So you can get to that clamp, the paddle clamp. Hup, let me get down here and open that up. Oh, I had it open, okay. And right in there, you can't see it, but there's, what is that, center back clamp, and then the door side clamps right there. Plenty of room to get your hand, I'm sorry, I keep getting too close, don't I? Plenty of room to get your hand up there to operate the clamps. The back paddle clamp for the intermediate piece of roof. There's a nice big enough hole to get to that clamp. And then that zipper to open it up to get to that one. Same on the other side. I'm trying to get as much of this as I can. This is not bad. I mean, it's not stretched nearly as tight as it maybe could be, but you know, with the changing in temperature, cold and hot, you wouldn't want it. If you put it on when it's hot and then it gets cold, it might, well, I don't think this stuff's gonna rip, but oh yeah, I guess anybody watching probably gets the idea of what I'm talking about. I don't know. Anyway, I'm not trying to show you how to put it on. The guy does a pretty good job showing you on his video for J Tops. I just wanted you to know my final feeling on it. And I'm happy with it. And all you're looking at is white, aren't you? Yep. Okay, let's see if we can. There, how about that picture there? Now, when they printed my flag, it said on the website they were printing on white, whatever that fabric is. So the top, of course, has got the for the colors for the flag. You can just barely make it out. The blue, white stars, the circle. All the way in the back, there's a blue bar. The rest of it's red. No, this is not a Confederate flag. This is the Tennessee state flag. But it's not. I was a little disappointed. I thought that the inside would be printed as well. But big deal, right? And I have to be honest with you. I'm pretty satisfied with it. From all the reviews that I've read, the majority of people are happy with them. I think I'm going to be happy with it. We'll see come this summer. I'll have a follow-up video when it gets good and warm out and I get the top off, and we'll see how it performs with the wind blowing over top of it down the road. I will say one thing though, and I think I've said it before, but I'm going to say it again. The only complaints I've heard people talk about online is the Velcro that you stick to your frame, to your roll bar underneath of here. If you decide you don't like it and you take it off, it's going to be tough. Cleaning that glue off is going to be tough. And there's those two buckles in the back. They're very, what's the word I want? Unobtrusive. Well, there's a $10 word. They don't really get in the way of anything, and they're not very, I don't know. They're not ugly. Let's put it that way. How about that? Yeah, it's got the little wave there after you fold that back, and the front tension is off of it. I really don't think that's going to bother me. I never look at the ceiling when I'm driving anyway, so there you go. Anyway, questions, comments, thoughts, like or hate, follow is always appreciated. I'm paying for all this. Nobody's giving me this stuff. I'm just doing these videos. If it can help anybody out, if it can help one person, that's fantastic. Y'all take it easy out there. I'm going to add one more thought to this. You remember early in the installation, right about in this location, you had to take that plate off. The Bimini goes underneath of it, you put the plate back on, and I'd been thinking the whole time that, you know, it ain't going to be that much, but it's going to raise it up. And I just want to point this out to you. I don't know if you can see it with the camera, but there's a slightly raised spot right there. You see how it, and then when you go down to the front, this crack gets smaller. It gets larger here where that plate is. Then it stays pretty consistent all the way back. But I just wanted to make everyone aware of that, if that's something that'll bother you. So you can just barely see how it's, well, the glare might not, you can just barely see it. Not a big issue. I've looked at the gaskets. Everything's still sealed up really good. I mean, it doesn't appear that's going to create any leak problem. Just wanted to show you that. Anyway, be good.